You know, one of the biggest fears for most people, most minds, most people, whatever, is being alone. But I don't understand what being alone is, you see, because the mind is the one that creates solitude. The mind is the one that creates division. The mind is the one that created the door to make me feel separate from the external world. But when the door, before the door was closed, it was the same oxygen. It was the same sky. It was the same sense of nature within this apparent lonely room. You see, we don't accept science because we're far too intelligent. And when I say science, the most basic science. At school, they don't say, look, children, this is your first day in class. Are you aware that this building is not enclosing you? It's just keeping you dry from the weather. And that's what that's why we build these things, to keep us dry and warm. Because certain times of the year, many wouldn't survive in some of the coldest temperatures. We don't build things to separate. We build things for, our comfort. But I used to remember when I was a child, I said to the teacher once, you keep me prisoner in this place. And that should have been the biggest teaching for the teacher, to say, no, what place? This is just a place to keep you warm. It's not different from outside. But you ring bells to say, I have to come in and I have to come out. The bells are guidelines. You don't have to come to school. The teachers don't say that. The teachers say, you have to turn up. This is a school. I'm sorry you feel like a prisoner, but you will be contained in this place. What is solitude, you see? Are you separate from the sky in this room? Are you separate from the universe in this room? Are you separate from your memories in this room? Are you separate from the knowledge that your family is alive and well in this room? Are you separate from anything in this room? You see, the mind is the divisive, sectarian. Bodies are not racist. The colours of bodies are not racist, you see. It's the mind that develops the idea that it wants to divide and conquer. We are told, we learn, our minds learn from those that we aspire. You see, Jesus didn't say, you have to follow me in this direction, because it's not godly in that room. It's not godly in that chapel. It's not godly in that country. God, whatever God is within. But that's not solely true. How can God be now not out here, but within? Within is out here. Do you think the breath is only contained within now, that we are creating the oxygen? When the surgeon opens up your body to reveal the necessary organs, that organs are no longer within. He's putting them in some bowl, cleaning them out and putting them back in. There's no such thing as division, you see. But I'm not here to tell you the most simple basic, you see, because the simple basic is not what the mind wants to know. The simple basic says, I want to be something other than what I am. Let me tell you what solitude, aloneness meant for this one. You see, born with a mind like everyone else, conditioned, programmed through the culture, the education, the Western society, the parents, the practices, the ways, the methods, all that installed, into the computer of this person. And then we have cross countries, and we love meeting people from different countries. We don't despise. You see, that's just another constructive way of divisiveness. That what you would call that despicable mind, that wants to say, no, you don't want them, no, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. We love people, but the problem is their cultures are wanted to be taken in by most, and they make it's a bit more complicated. So you start developing other ways, other methods, other possibilities, you see. And it gets more complex, you see. It gets more complicated for the mind, because the mind only knows what it wants to know, you see. That's why initially intelligence is really important. It's very important to be intelligent at school, so that your mind expands and provides more space as it develops and grows. But if you're born in a working class background where it's not really, what's the word, in to be intelligent, you don't want that, that's for the posh kids, that's what the so your mind is unable to contain all this new, worthy other methods and practices. So you begin to feel a bit insecure, because as I prolong with these words, if you want to remain for another 15 minutes, you'll see that there comes a point when the mind which is trying, every day our mind is trying to replicate, is trying to project, is trying to reveal what we truly are, originally are. So the mind is not the enemy. There are aspects of mind which are born and they get infected and they get diseased, and they start saying, we don't want these people, we don't want to live like that, because our mind is not big enough to accept the infinite possibilities that it holds. So for this one, it's very important that we understand that the qualities of intelligence and the qualities of mind, okay? There is something that supersedes that, and that's what this speaker every time tries to, I wouldn't say reveal, but examine. So I didn't fit in. I didn't fit into the mind that says divisiveness. If you want this, you have to give up that. Okay? Which is a very sensible practice. But I don't know if I can give up that to get that. And it's not what is taking place in the outside world, it's the mind speaking to itself. There's not enough space to take both of these on. You were born with this and you want to change it now. So you have to surrender and give up something. It's what we do in our everyday life. When the house gets full of furniture and you want some more new furniture, the best way to do is get rid of the old furniture. You don't want to put more furniture on top of furniture because your space begins to get crammed. The computer hard drive begins to start shaking. You know, and you have to knock down your house and you become one with science. But you're cold and wet. So I didn't fit in, you see, the mind didn't fit in. It couldn't compute. It didn't understand. It wasn't told at school the complexities of the mind. It wasn't told about what it's here for. It wasn't told what you were here for. You were just thrown into the deep end, into the public school, where the teachers just were more interested in giving you maths. You know, who's doing the maths, miss? You are. Who am I? Graham. Now move on. Next test. Because they don't know. They don't know that there are lesser minds, smaller minds, unable to understand what they are experiencing. The teachers are not bad people. They've just expanded their minds, you see. So I didn't fit in. So you get depressed. You become insular. You start being solitude. You start not trusting the outside world. They don't like me. They don't want me. I have all this to give. Now this is the genuine bit, which everyone has. And you'll understand this at the end. I have all this to give, and there's no one listening. There's no one listening, no one caring. And that's the whole problem. No one is caring. No one is listening. So who wants to listen? See? Who wants to care? In your solitude, you say, I can no longer blame these people. I've been blaming them for everything. I've been blaming them for my failures, for all the things that I've done bad in my life. I've been blaming my external world, my parents, my education, my teachers, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, all these people you're blaming. And then I said, well, it's only you. You made this life. You made this world. You took on this role. You took on the mind. You took on the ego. You've taken on everything. What are you going to do? You can just be brave and go back to school, your own school, and learn in your natural, original way. Or you can punish yourself. You know, and that's what I did, like Eckhart Tolle, in front of the mirror. I knew it was me. This thing, this form. I knew it was what was contained within this body, but I didn't want to go through another 40 years of going to school. So I'd rather just say, you're going. I don't like you. I look in the mirror. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you are. I don't know what you're trying to prove. Who the hell are you? And you make an attempt to do something silly, and then something intervenes, and you're in a new world. You're flying around like a feather. You're absolutely free because something has exploded in your head. And they say in science it's the chemicals, the dopamines, the serotonin, the opiates, all emptying out and then rejigging and coming back in. And it takes 7 years. And I believe that. The enlightened say, no, it's a blessing, it's a revelation, it's a space where you have been saved. Sanctuary. I believe that also. But there's something that takes place. And after 7 years of absolute profound love, of joy, of meditation, of non-dual, wholehearted, soulful, loving, this, what do you call it? When this interception, this moment when this happened, it was being controlled by something out with the person me. The ego was dying. It was on its feet. The only thing that picked itself up was the love, was the original you, was the truth, the space, the pure holy consciousness that they speak about in the Bhagavad Gita. And you spend incredible, I don't know, I mean time, I don't know what time is now. You actually lose all the things that you inherited. So what you wanted to do was to be expansive and intelligent like everyone around you, and you get the reverse. You get everything taken away from you. But that's the best thing that could happen, because you have to start again. And your mind is empty, and you have this beautiful space that will not expand to the intelligence of the others, because it's like the body. The body grows to a certain level and it stops growing. The brain grows to, everyone's brains are different sizes, everyone's bodies are different sizes. Everyone's minds are different sizes. But you have this lovely little space of mind. And ego says, okay, what are we going to do with it? And you spend most of it time just being empty. Absolutely in love with life. Absolutely. Being, something is guiding you through this incredible mystery. The mysteriousness, the magical, the mystical, profound love. And so you're like that for, I don't know, I can't remember when it stopped. I don't know if it has stopped. It just isn't so necessary to be in it, you see. Because what happens, you see, is that first intervention, I remember the word now, intervention. You don't know what intervened. You're just grateful, you see. You're just grateful that something took pity on you, you know, and intervened in a way that it was a colossal shift, you see, a colossal destruction of ego, to the extent that you don't know who you are. Words, identifications, all that mental mind stuff that appeared to be holding you back. But it wasn't holding you back, it just was that this is your, what you call, I think they call dharma, your karma in life. You choose your path, you see. You choose your parents, and you choose your what conditions you. There's no one outside of you that is guilty of what is taking place within your life right now. That's just a thought. That's just an idea. That's a concept. That's another divisionistic way of mind to introduce its power. You see, the ego is power, but it's not the real power of this beauty, this love. So you find yourself walking around forests. You start disappearing even more into the depth of that, and something then that what is controlling this. You're so grateful that you're not the controller, you see. You've surrendered, you've given up. You see, that's what it is. You surrender and give up this mind. I give up this body, I give up this mind. I don't know who you are, but you are fake, and I want rid of you, you know. So you give up this control. There's no one there to give up, you see. That's what they say, non-duality. There's no me, there's no I. There's no... anyway, we've spoke about this many times. So, but you can't go on like that, you see. You can't walk around with a smile on your face, not caring, not minding, not, taking the simple things in life as a real possibility to make a difference. Not to anyone else at this point, to yourself. Make a difference to yourself. How can you make a difference to that what appears to be, for an ego to understand this, how can you make a difference for something that appears to be, that's me, that's my life, that's how it went, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can't remove all that stuff. That's what I have to carry. That's my burden, that's my punishment. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. You can change right now without having to confront your biggest fear of solitude and aloneness, and that idea that there's nothing else to do in this world and it's all a waste of time and negative, and I want it to end, I have to carry this is my punishment, this is my, but you also cannot continue to walk around with this permanent smile on your face, because they'll lock you up, you see. What's wrong with that one, for 7 years, he's been walking around as if he's Jesus, as if he's God. He's not saying anything. He's just happy. Why is he so happy? What's going on? They don't know, you see. I don't know what's going inside your mind. I don't know what's going inside any mind. I don't know what's going inside the table's mind, because the mind is that culprit, the greatest thing that you can have. But when it takes over and you start believing you are it, you are this mind solely and only, it's going to devour you and eat you up. It will devour you with intelligence. Great, I love it. I want to be devoured by intelligence, but it will also devour you in the opposite of intelligence, of ignorance. So you're now in the ignorant side. You're totally ignorant. People say you're enlightened, but you're actually lesser than a slug. You're lesser. To say that ant is lesser when you're in this state is such a deformative comment to the ant that is working away soulfully and providing food and all the things that we do as human beings. So the second intervention is necessary. And the second intervention is when you think, this is it. I'm about to transcend into the most beautiful paradisial heaven. I am so out of it. I am flying. I can fly. There's angels all around. There's love. There's paradisial, tranquil beauty. And you say, whoever I am, whatever's going on, take me. And the door opens. You see the door that breaks this room out to the space outside. There's a same door that Rumi and Assisi talks about. If you open the door, there has to be a separation. But there's no separation because there's no door. The door opens itself. It's the veil, the mask, the final mask of your horrific past is taken away. And what reveals is you, yourself. We think we're seeking for God. We think we're seeking for spirituality, for religion, for Christ. We think we're seeking for something other than what we are. Something else. Something more. But we're only seeking for ourselves. So I want to try and explain to you, in a working man, because that's where I came from. I came from this kind of poorish family in a working class place. And I'm proud of my childhood. I'm proud of how I've developed. I'm proud of my choices I've made in life. But it's not a pride of ignorance. It's not a pride to say I did great. It's a pride to say I accept that what has been revealed to me. We're rerunning something that we've already lived, you know. We're just rerunning and rerunning and rerunning and rerunning in different bodies until we get it right, you know. So the second intervention was myself. And I realized at that point the first intervention was also myself. What is this myself, you see? Because you're looking in the screen as if it's this body. You're looking in the screen as if it's this man. What is yourself, you see? Have you found yourself? Have you discovered yourself? Do you have to go through this suffering, this torture, this depression, this mirror confrontation to know yourself? So in a working class way, this is what the conversation was. The door opens, or the veil is lifted, and there's a laughter. And there's that absolutely opening up that Christ says, when you open your arms, come into me. Walk through the door, the valley of myself. And you embrace, and you laugh, and you hug. And you say, wow, for all my life I thought it was something other than this. I've waited for this moment. And this voice says to you, in a working man's way, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing here? It's not your time. Get back. Get back and do something. Be grateful. Now you know. Now you know. Now you know the truth. And behind this is this God, not visible, controlling everything. Controlling everything, 100% God. I don't know if the word God gives it some sort of real identity to what it is. It's far, far bigger than you can imagine. But you are also very close proximity to that God when you're yourself. Does this make sense to your mind? When you are originally yourself, when you are true to yourself, when you are being yourself in a body, you're in close proximity to God. Now it sounds as if it's divisive. That sounds as if there's an in and out. That sounds as if there's a room and a world out there. But there's an umbilical cord that is never, ever disconnected to God. It's within, of course. Can't see it. Munchi calls it the kiss within. When there's a moment in your life when you think, wow, this is so, the mind is empty, there's a feeling of love, you've met the most wonderful thing in your life, there's a little flourish in your stomach, in your hara. It's traveling along that umbilical cord, and God's happy. Get back. Make something out of your life. You will never. I want you to go back with non-judgment. You learned not to judge others before you took this 7-year journey. That was the best thing you did. You took ownership of your failures, of your responsibilities. You took ownership of your fear. You took ownership of your choices, and you stopped blaming the world. That's the door to the journey. You surrendered your body and your mind up. How can we work with something that is controlling, that is trying to manipulate, that is trying to organize, to trying to, yes, I understand, but I'm going this way today, God. No, you have to give up everything, and you did. Now, turn around. Now you're free. Now you can be yourself. Now you can do something to feel that you have been a worthy candidate for this. And you're waiting for the, what do I have to do? Will I be a saint? Will I be successful? Will I be an entrepreneur? Will I be a millionaire? And this one knows how your thoughts. This is yourself knowing your own thoughts. No, it's much more simple than that. You just have to start again. You have to be yourself. And you have to be grateful. You can't fool these people. You can't fool yourself. Me. And you certainly can't fool God. I'm going to give you a helping hand on your way back. Because it's going to be a shock. And everything in life is a transition. Even death is a transition. It doesn't happen like that. There's a transition. Birth is a transition. Before you become even a seed. And then the transition of 9 months in the body, your mother. And life is a transition. And death a transition. So your way back is a transition. So I'm going to put Christ with you. And test you. And on the way back, all these things that Christ said in the Bible, conveying God's words, non-judgmental. Don't judge anyone, he says. Do not judge anyone. Do not measure and compare and have preferences and choices and think there is superiority and think there is division. Do not fall into the trap of that ego. Do not start believing and hoping, because you know. But engage with people. Share. You'll not be able to share convincingly. But each one is living in a body. The self is whole, as you quite saw when you met yourself. You didn't meet another representation of this. You meet the whole infinite livingness, the whole moment of consciousness, the pot of love, they call it. But you're not a little droplet. You're the whole pot. Everyone is the whole pot, if you know what I mean. So Christ gives you that grounding and gives you the teaching in the way. And Christ's most beautiful words is be simple. Be basic. And everything will bloom like the lotus flower. And everyone around you will be affected by the pollen. They won't know. And you won't know. Because your mind is limited. And be grateful. Yours is so limited that you can now start putting in some sort of identification for the memory, if you want to call it that, of meeting the truth yourself and that what lays beyond it. Yourself is protecting yourself from the power of God. And power in a joyful way. It's too powerful for this body. But it's also protecting yourself from being sucked into the world of ego, into the world of power. And you realize that intelligence is really, really important. But to be wise supersedes intelligence by millions of light years. And to be wise is to be grateful, says Jesus. To be wise is to be grateful and thankful. Kindness is a secondary way. And the kindness will not have to be with effort. The kindness will automatically be, if it wasn't for you people out there pushing me into solitude, pushing me into that sanctuary, I wouldn't be feeling so alive and so full and so worthy. I'm just an insignificant human form while I'm in this body, with a mind that is so loving that it doesn't even talk about it, because it's too upsetting to know that many years at school I wasted to expand that mind, but many years at school I didn't waste learning about people. That's our lesson, not algebra and the theory of relativity. It is about what people are. Incredible. Mystical and magical as human forms and flesh. But when what they know, what you know within yourself, is beyond what the saints try to convey. No one can convey this meeting. We can imagine it's God, we can imagine it's consciousness, we can imagine it's spirituality, and we can imagine this self is me. But it is something far more stable and tranquil. They talk about omnipresent, untarnished, untouchable, undiminishing. These words don't even come close to what it is. And God's bigger. Can you believe it? What you understand that in life is that you're not seeking for God, really. You're not seeking for another life. You're not seeking for a heaven, a reconnection with your family on the other side when the body goes. You're not seeking for understanding about what's taking place. You're not seeking for, the universe and what it is and how it was made and how life was made. You're never seeking until the mind says seek. And the mind only says seek when you're lost. Because seekness is a kind of sickness. So you think about what you're seeking. And instead of seeking, start being, being yourself. You're clean inside, even though the mind says you're dirty. Your mind is not full, even though it says it is. You are not incapable, even though the mind says you're incapable. You're not anything that holds you back from opening your arms and looking in the mirror and saying, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you are, but I'm glad I met you. I'm glad I met my body and myself. And one day, who knows? But you have to watch your ego. And for 6 years now I've been on this site. I don't know why. I have no aims. I don't want benefits or gains or subscribers, in the sense that just for the hell of it, if you want to listen and you really listen to yourself I'm always pointing to you. I, you're me. And Christ says it. You know, this system replicates Christ. This system of we replicates Christ. You know, Christ says, I am the way. And they destroy Christ. And then they say, well, wait a minute, they had so many followers. So many followers. Let's use this, I am the way. Let's point them to Christ. But Christ was saying, I'm not the one you're following. It's your I am. Your I am is the way. But that's hidden from you, you see. That's one for the conspiracy, systematic social UG Krishnamurti ones that absolutely exists, but hey, I've no time for that. Time is really, really precious for the body. It's not precious for the mind. Mind will make up another time, another journey. But the body is a time body, you see. So the ego can be you very tentative to join a specific religion and start speaking about one-way systems again. This is the one-way system, you see. This is the one-way system. There's only one way. I am the way, you know. But it was a point. And when the ego was tested by myself, and it's one of the most important lessons about, I don't know, 6 years into this regrounding, this rejoining, reconnecting to human status. I had a knock on my door. I live in the country, rural. I was alone in the house. See, you even start speaking again like the house is separate from, yeah. But this is the point of telling you this, why we have to speak like this. So there was a knock on the door. I was alone in this house. And these two gentlemen, fine gentlemen, knocked on it, said, and they were from some sort of religion. I'm not going to name the kind of religion, it's not important. And I said, I offered them in for a cup of tea and they declined. And I said, oh, what brings you here? And he says, one of them says, we are from this, you know, religious people. And we want to just meet you and find out what your beliefs are. And I said, oh, thank you very much. What is it that you want me to, what is it you want to share with me? So they handed me this little version of I don't know, some sort of biblical book with a picture of Jesus enshrouded by this light, you know. And they said, do you believe in Jesus? And do you believe in God? I didn't know what they meant. And I said, rather, when you think about now in a human world, the most foolish statement. I think I've only ever heard one other person saying it, Carl Jung. And something inside says, believe. What is it to believe? And they said, God. Or do you believe that when you die, that you may meet God, that God exists? And I went to myself, die. Believe, die. I said, I don't believe in God. And their eyes opened. Oh, are you an atheist? No. I'm just myself. Why don't you believe in God? They said. I said, because I know God. I know Jesus. How can one believe when they know? And they looked at me like some sort of, I don't know, mental, like some sort of boundary, some sort of hurdle. How can we come into your door, this door, if you won't allow us? They weren't. We're all in the same, we don't have to go through any doors. We're all in the same pod. Some people who are on a journey, circling around this pod. They circle around. You know, like the water going down the tap, the plug hole, and then some are still circling. And that's what these men were doing. I disappeared down the drain hole, down the wormhole. And then when they left, they never returned. Can you blame them? I said, I must stop speaking like that. You're not here to talk about you having a superior knowledge to anyone else. We all have the same knowledge. We all know God. We're just choosing a path outside of it with the umbilical cord attached. We're on vacation. We're in a body. We're on holiday. We're living the dream, they say. But are you loving the dream? Are you loving the trees, the colours, the things that I as an artist used to paint, and then when I became enlightened, didn't know what a colour was, didn't know what a tree was, didn't know what the sky was, because everything was non-dual, the ego mind was gone. Well, I welcome the ego mind back in, and I welcome a new mind back in. You see, every morning I welcome the mind. I welcome the thoughts, but they don't come. Only the ones that are necessary come. You become like the child. And the thoughts of the child you can remember as being a child. And you get up in the morning and you open your eyes and you wash your face. You wash the sleep out of your eyes and you look out the window and you say, what am I going to do today? I'm going to work, but I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm so looking forward to that, what is not going to happen. I would have liked another hour in my bed, the ego says. But that's an hour wasted in sleep. Who wants to be asleep when this is available? When this is available? When the foods that we're given every day is available, from the smiles that we meet from each other on the street is available, from the hugs and the embraces from your children, your grandchildren, from the gifts that you get and the gifts that you give, all available. And we live in misery. It's time to be human. But you cannot be human until you start being, until you understand your being, until you reconnect with your being. I saw something spectacular. I find it difficult to even try and revisit it because it's so intensely loving. So I just go on. What else is there to do? mean, who wants to waste another moment? Who wants to ridicule school and ridicule politicians and ridicule war when they have a mirror to look into? I have a TV screen in my house. My partner, my wife, watches it. I watch it sometimes, you know, it's entertaining. I watch it more now so because I'm more human. But when I'm not watching the TV and not outside looking at God's incredible work or painting God's incredible work, I'm always looking in the mirror. I'm not looking for war or for negativity or for trouble or looking at bills as they come through, popping through your door. These things are irrelevant. We pay them and we move on. Or we don't pay them and we suffer the consequences of ego. But when I look in the mirror, I don't see this man. I see beyond this man. I see myself, my genuine true self. And I only worship the mirror. Not what I see in the mirror. Not what looks in the mirror. But the mirror. Because the mirror reflects what we're here to see. The mirror reflects me. The mirror is primary. The looker and that what is seen is the reward. Use your reward. Relocate. There's nothing internal and external in this world. There's no in and out. There's no alone and in company. There is just pure, beautiful, tranquil life. And the most joyful thing in life is not to win the lottery. It's not to be successful. It's not to be a hero. It's not to be the most worshipped person in the world. The reward of life is to be alive in life. Are you alive in life? There's no awake and sleep. There's no enlightenment and depression. These are things that are testing the mind. And honesty. Honesty. If I did well at school, if I tried harder, if I followed the route, the inner knowledge that I had, I wouldn't have had to go through all this. I chose a path of suffering. I chose the path of suffering. And now I no longer suffers because I is dead. You see? The shadow I has gone. The pure I, the godly I, the self I, it cannot come, so therefore it cannot go. I stay in the middle. You're not neither in nor are you out. You're neither alone nor are you in company. You're neither man nor are you woman. So many people going through these sex changes. Consciousness is winning the battle over ego. Consciousness is winning the battle. Soon there'll be no wars, there'll be no power, there'll be no wealth, materialism, all these ideas and concepts for you. But they'll go on around you. Are they around you or are they within you? Is the war of the mind still negating, talking, fighting, defending, destroying, creating what we appear to think is important? Only the mirror exists. Reflect immaculately. And God will be happy. That's 100% fact. Can you reflect as yourself? Can you be yourself? Can you be genuine, honest, loving, kind, and present? If you can, you're free. Thank you for listening. Sorry about the time. I don't know what it is, but something's ticking. As long as this one's ticking for now. Namaste Om.